Welcome to Retail Retold, the stories behind how that store landed in your neighborhood. I'm Chris Ressa, in conversation with the people and stories shaping retail and real estate. Brought to you by DLC. Let's start it from the top. Welcome to Retail Retold, everyone. I am joined today by Paul Yousef. Paul is a principal at MWT. They are an authorized AT&T dealer with 28 locations in the Midwest. I am excited for him to be on the show. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yep. Paul Yousef. I'm the principal of Millennium Wireless Technology, MWT, and we have 28 locations in Michigan and Wisconsin. We're headquartered out of Troy, Michigan. So,
excellent. Paul, I'm fascinated to know because there are so many different franchises one can get into. How did you end up in the authorized retailer of a major cell phone brand?
Great question. So when I was in high school, I was working for my uncle. My uncle owned an Ameritech cellular store. That store sold pagers and a little bit of cell phones at the time. So we're talking like 96.
Yep.
And so my job was to fix pagers in the back of the store. And so that's what I did after school. I would leave school and, get to the store, and they had like 5 or 10 pagers that needed to be repaired from that morning. People come in that needed their pagers fixed or reprogrammed, right? So I'd come in, knock them out, and that's what I did every day after school.
Excellent. How did that turn into you owning 28?
Okay, so good question. I continued to work for my uncle, repairing pagers. I eventually, when I graduated high school, I was going to like a local community college, but I was also running this Ameritech cellular store. I became the store manager, and I did that probably till I was about 19. So a couple of years after high school, a gentleman from AT&T, or at the time Ameritech, he was like an account representative. He saw what I did. Like he saw what happened when I took over the store as a store manager and how the sales were doing. He approached me and just said, "Hey, look, like you're doing a really good job. How would you like to own your own store one day?" I really didn't know what to say. I didn't really have money, but there was a gentleman named Al Johnson. He had one location. He was trying to exit the business. He was retiring, and I was introduced to Al. Al was a really good guy, and he, my dad actually, he refinanced our house, and I think he pulled out like $50,000, and I used those proceeds to buy the business. Wow. And get working capital. So I think I was like 19 years old. It was pretty, at the time it was pretty stressful, Chris, just because it was taking that kind of money and knowing how it would leverage the house. So that was
a big deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Big deal. Well, kudos to you. Before we get started, we have a segment of the show called Clear the Air. I've got 3 questions. They're fun questions. Tell me when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. Question 1. What is one skill you don't possess but wish you did?
Speed reading.
Man, me too. That is a good one. You get so much information put in front of you. You have to evaluate. If you could get through it in half the time, man.
With retention. Like I have to be able to retain it.
Obviously, you have to be able to retain it. Yeah, good point. Okay. Question 2. When is the last time you tried something for the first time?
A couple years ago, I went out because I wanted to learn more about commercial real estate. And I got my CCIM designation, took all the classes and got this designation. It's really
Wow.
cool.
That is a cool,
Yeah.
cool one. Not many franchisees, authorized retailers would get a CCIM. Why don't you explain what a CCIM is?
Yeah, so the CCIM is a certified commercial investment member. That's the acronym that it stands for. And they basically teach you everything you want to know about a commercial real estate investment. And what's cool is they cover, it's like 4 major modules. They cover like how to look at the market, how to analyze the numbers, how to they go to how to like make decisions of which investment property to go after. Like if you have option A and option B, how do you make the decision of which one to buy? A lot of it is it was the best thing I ever did because we would like to own more of the buildings that we do business in. And so that's kind of like that was like the catalyst of what made me want to do it. But I would highly recommend it to anybody that wants to further their commercial real estate investment, like know-how and really understand it from the investor's perspective. So there was a lot of brokers in that. Most of the people in the class were brokers, and they wanted to understand like how to present to their potential clients and stuff like that. So and what it's like sitting on their side of the table. So I think it was a great class. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I don't have one, but I've heard good things. You mentioned to own some of your buildings. You have 28 stores. How many of those 28 stores do you own the underlying real estate?
We don't own any of our current real estate right now.
Okay.
One of the major reasons is because we always select the best real estate in the trade area. So if it was between owning our building or being on Main and Main and paying $40 a foot, we're going to be on Main and Main because the way it works for us is we'll just make so much more money than trying to just own the real estate.
Yeah, who owns it is less relevant as long as you're operating your business in what you consider the best real estate.
Yeah, and I will tell you this, Chris, is through the CCIM class, when it came to studying markets, I learned a lot about how to study markets and some of the tools that were available and how to use those tools. And so I've been able to use those tools to help me make better real estate decisions for our AT&T business.
That's a good one to hear. Cool. All right. Question 3. What is one thing most people agree with, but you do not?
Okay. So I hate mayonnaise.
Oh boy.
And I think it should be banned.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, we have to disagree on this one. However, I understand, but I do like mayonnaise. So no chicken salad and tuna salad for you.
No, man, the smell just, doesn't do it for me.
Oh man. Can you do the ketchup mixed with mayonnaise? Can you do that?
No, man, no special sauce. No special sauce, none of that stuff. Just anything that's got mayonnaise in it, like, no
You're
spicy mayo, like sushi, no spicy, none of that.
You're out. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a great answer. I don't agree with it, but it's a great answer. Okay. Let's move on to the story because you have a fascinating story about how NWT ended up opening their stores in the state of Wisconsin. So it's not a one-store thing, but it's about how you entered Wisconsin, you ended up owning and opening multiple stores. Take us through the story because I find this one great.
Yeah. So in 2017, one of my friends, Rick, who was a national authorized retailer for AT&T. So he was in more than like 4 or 5 or 6 markets. He was all over. He was he had called me up in like late 2017 and says, hey, I'm exiting the Wisconsin market, and you know, I'd like to offer them to you. And so I said, fine, send me the, you know, send me all the analytics, and let me do a deep dive and review everything. So he sends me all this stuff, and I call him back. I said, like, you know, Rick, you're losing money. Like, I don't know what you're selling here. And he's pretty much like, I'm not going to sell you the stores. I'm going to give you the stores. And by the way, Rick is like the nicest guy in the world. Just one of the nicest human beings. So, like, all right, get back to you. So my brother Peter and I are in business. We've been in business, you know, this whole time for the last 24 years. So I brought it up to Peter, and, you know, Peter's like, why do you want to do this? You know, we're in a really good situation with our 17 or 18 stores in Detroit. What's the reason? Why do you want to do this? And I told him, like, listen, like, I convinced him to do it, and I showed him the numbers, and he's like, the only way we'll do this if we can get him to come to closing with $500,000. My initial reaction to Peter was like, you're doing this just to sabotage this deal. Like, he's giving us these stores for free. And, you know, we always got to agree on things. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to Rick, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And after he just told me he'll give them to me, I'm going to ask him for $500,000. So
Take him.
I call him. What's that?
To take his stores.
To take his stores.
I'll buy your stores, but you have to give me $500,000 to do it, and I'm going to pay you $0.
Yeah. So I call Rick, and like, Rick, you know, we'll do the, you know, I told him, and then he got silent. I didn't hear, like, crickets, right? For like, I think like it was like 10 seconds, but it felt like longer, you know? And then he says, would you take 300,000? And I couldn't believe it when he responded. And I said, I'll call you back, Rick. And Peter, nope, don't want it. It's either $500,000 or we're not doing the deal. Go back to Rick. Rick made it happen. You know, he was able to get us the $500,000. And that's basically, that's that's how we were able to get in. So.
Wow. For a lot of people who aren't in business deals every day, that probably sounds so strange, but I've actually seen this before in many transactions, actually, and typically what happens is somebody has a large transaction. Maybe they're selling 100 stores, or they have $100 million business, and they need to sell off a part of the business that's worth $400,000, but they have to get it all off. And sometimes the only way to make that sale happen is to transfer the interest. Was this one of those times? I have to imagine this was part of a larger sale.
You're spot on, Chris.
Okay.
So the seller did not reveal that to us.
Okay.
We found that after the fact, but he had sold pretty much his entire portfolio except the Wisconsin stores.
That's because they were losing.
I felt a little, I mean, honestly, like I did feel like a little betrayed, because I'm like, you know, but then I got over it pretty quick because we got the $500,000. So yeah, you're right. His stores, he sold all of them. Just the ones up in Wisconsin were the ones that he sold to us. So.
And you were buying how many stores in this transaction?
It was it was 7 stores, but only 4 of them were open and operating, and there were 3 signed leases.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was going to be work. You weren't just buying existing, operating, fun, cash flowing businesses. You were buying businesses that were failing, and you were about to double down and open up 3 more.
Yep. And so we analyzed one other thing to add to that was the leadership for these, there was no district manager. So the leadership was out of Chicago. We weren't getting the district manager.
Oh, wow. So you're going to have to go higher.
We had to hire. And I think there was, by the time we took over the stores, there was only 7 employees running 4 stores.
Wow.
And I think there was only, like, not every store had a store manager. Like, one of the stores was missing a store manager. So, yeah.
So as comes to closing with $500,000, you take the stores and the $500,000 to get the stores to profitability. Well, first, are those 4 stores profitable today? You just bought it in 2017 and we just did a pandemic.
Yeah, they are.
Kudos to you.
But some of them have been relocated. And then some of them have been reloaded. And we have better management now, but yeah, the short answer to your question is I think most of them are profitable. We might have one out there that's not,
And are the other 3 open?
The other 3 opened up within 6 months of us going into the market, because we went in on February 1st. And so they had opened up all within 2018. By the end of 2018, we had seven open locations.
And now you have 10. You actually went and you opened 3 more, correct?
We opened 3 more locations. They've been much better located. Like, we picked out some really good real estate. So the 3 that we did open up, what ended up happening, Chris, is the original 7, we ended up closing 2. And then, so we opened up 5 new ones. That's how it really happened.
Okay. Got it.
So 5 of the 7 stayed, and then we opened up 5 new ones.
So I think here's the 2 questions that everyone's probably wondering, so they can analyze this deal. So the first question, how much were the 4 stores losing every month?
The 4 stores, I think we were losing anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Wow.
Per location.
Wow. So, wow.
Like, we had a mall location. It was a kiosk, probably 100 square feet. The rent there, I think we were paying was $17,000 a month in rent. We were paying like $1,700 a foot for that kiosk.
Wow. And
in its heyday, before we owned it, it was a good, it was a good store, but that was one of the reasons why we asked for.
Yeah, it's losing 20 to 40,000 a month. Wow. And the next question is, he gave you 500 grand. Did you have to invest more than that to actually get these stores profitable and rebrand it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I imagine.
We reinvested, like, the profits. I mean, thank God, like, Detroit was making money, but I would say for about we spent like that $500,000 was gone. And then I think we probably put in another $1 million from Detroit to get it to get it going. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Going back when you were like making the deal with Rick, what was it that you looked at and you said, you know what? I think we can turn these to profitability.
Good question. So anytime you're anytime there's local ownership, like Rick was based out of like Missouri.
Right.
And his management was in Chicago. Like his district managers were running out of Chicago. And so then we also had in analytics into how many customers were visiting his stores per month. We took that data and we said, if we can execute this business plan, we can convert a certain percentage of customers from just walk-ins into sales and generate revenue. We can break even and then eventually make a little bit of money. And we weren't even looking to make a lot of money. What we were trying to do, Chris, was expand our footprint, like in the market. You know, that was one of the things we're trying to do.
Got it. Okay. Well, it's a fascinating story. You're able to bring, bring this interesting deal to the table. It wasn't lollipops and rainbows under the hood of the deal. But you went in and you turned it around and it's still working. And now in 2016, you had 0 stores in Wisconsin. Now you have 10. And really, really cool story. And I think you bring something to the show that most people haven't heard of, at this someone giving you the stores essentially plus cash to try to help get these to profitability. Times like that, though, when you were pushing for it, your brother wanted it to be perfect. When you start rolling in 2018, 2019, I imagine there was some tug and pull between you and your brother on this transaction. Not only was it the 500, you had to sink another $1 million in. How was navigating those waters?
That is such a damn good question, because it made I'll put it this way. That was a really tough time for us, knowing like you're seeing, this thing is just like, it's bleeding money. It's bleeding money, right? And my brother, he was against it. He moved to Wisconsin, and he like picked up his family and moved to Wisconsin.
I can imagine that car ride to his wife. Why are we moving to Wisconsin? Because my brother had to buy this business and I can't let it. And he's taking all the money from Detroit and letting it implode, and we're losing everything. So I got to go.
Yep. And that's pretty much, that's probably what, how it went down, So he set up shop there and built some really strong relationships with the local community, the talent that was there. I mean, he like handpicked and recruited the best talent in the market. And he forged some really strong relationships with like AT&T account managers, AT&T executives that were there. And what that did is it built our brand awareness, like MWT's local brand awareness out there, to where we were known as like one of the most respected employers in the market. Wow. And so people advocated for us, and AT&T wanted to see us win. I mean, we really we took that risk, and they really wanted to see us win. But I think that was probably the biggest thing, was him going out there and recruited the way he recruited. He recruited his butt off.
Wow. What a great story. In a transaction like that, how much is AT&T corporate involved?
First of all, like, you have to get their consent. So,
right.
And, and there's going to be no deal without their consent. And so they have to, and I had a really good relationship with the VPGM in the market, and she was out of Chicago. We had a really good relationship with her. So she advocated for us to do the deal. And so because of her approval, we're able to get like the legal consent to move forward with the closing.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's a great story, and I'm glad it's working out today, and truly fascinating. No one's told one like that on this show before. So really appreciate you doing that.
Sure.
I want to move to the business for a second, just overall as this dealer, authorized retailer world that you live. I think a lot of people think of a cell phone store and the money comes from this, and I'm holding up my iPhone right now. But what's really critical are the subscribers and the people signing up for the service. So can you walk us through that for a second? I think that would be helpful to the audience.
Really good point that you bring up, Chris, and you're absolutely correct. It's somewhat of a backwards business model, and what I mean by that is the carrier is going to, front the cut, like you're going to get your $1,000 iPhone, and they're usually free. Like if you sign up for new service, typically the iPhone is with AT&T for the last 3 or 4 years. They've just been giving it for free as long as you sign up for the installment, the contract or whatever, right? And so they're giving you the $1,000 iPhone, and then they're going to make their money up $50-$40 a month, right? Over the next 3 or 4 years, like 3 years, let's say. And so they call it monthly recurring fees. So the way the carrier makes money is from the monthly recurring fees. And as long as you're a customer, that's how they make money.
Right. And and so they compensate you for that.
So what they do for us is they say, all right, just ballpark, you'll get 4 to 6 times the monthly recurring revenue that's generated from that transaction. So if say it's $50 a month, you might get and if it's worth 5 times of the MRC. I probably shouldn't, it's probably I probably are not supposed to say exactly, but I'm just giving you an idea. The dealer's getting a multiplier of the monthly recurring charge of the customer's bill. Now, depending on the carrier, each carrier is different and each brand is different. Like there's brands that only pay 1-time MRC, and there's brands that pay 6 times MRC. So you're getting, that's on a new line. If it's a renewal, 1, 2 times, 3 times MRC on renewals. So that's the model. And what you're trying to do is you get so many customers walking in, right? And then if you can convert those walk-ins into renewals or new lines or renewals, then that's how you're generating revenue to the business.
So you bring up something interesting, which is you're really in the service business almost more than the retail service business, more than the actual product business. It's a retail service. You're selling a retail product, but you're also selling a retail service where the bread and butter is made. And so I'm curious how e-commerce has impacted this. How has online impacted your world?
So, think about this, right? Like that, you bring up a really good point. You think about when Apple does the announcement, hey, we're doing the iPhone 13 that just launched, right? There's a segment of customers that will watch that recording of the Apple recording when it comes out. And as soon as it's, the pre-launch where you could pre-order, they're ordering the phone without even having seen it live. They don't even care. They're just new iPhone, I'm getting it. And some people don't even watch the live Apple thing, right? Some people just say, oh, it's the new one. I don't even have seen it, but I'm just going to order it because I know I want the newest one. You have a pretty big chunk of customers that do that. And when that happens, that doesn't come to us. It's going to Apple, or it's going to AT&T Direct, right? There's still there's another segment of customers that are, they want to do business in the store. The biggest driver for that is they don't know they still come in hey, I want to see the new iPhone. And it looks like the last one that they had because it's just a black screen when you look at it, right? They want to know a little bit about the benefits, but they still really don't care. They're more interested that it's the newest iPhone and they want to get it. But the biggest thing for them is the dilemma is, how do I get my contact, all my content from my old phone to my new phone? And they're afraid to mess it up. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to lose anything. That's the biggest thing. And our retail sales associates, they do it every day. They do it 7 days a week. So they can do it with their eyes closed. So they come in knowing that all of their content, all of their pictures and their photos and everything they have is all going to be moved over, and that, you know.
I think the other piece of that is, those are all great points. Isn't the other piece like the plans? Like even for sophisticated customers, like getting your arms around like the different plans and deals, to me is like really hard to navigate online. I don't know if you see that a lot, but I think it's easier to navigate in a store when you're talking to someone.
Good question. Good point. Sorry. So you're right. Like like what I just mentioned, if it's like a renewal, like you already have AT&T and you're going to stick to everything. Hey, I don't want to change my plan. But like, say you're coming from like a different carrier, right? Like I'm coming from Verizon. You come in, you know, you might not be sure about all the plans. You're just browsing. If I can qualify you and find out what you're looking for, what you have, and learn more about you, and where you work, maybe you own your own business, who do you have for your home internet, because we sell home internet, and if I can create a package for you and get you every discount that we have, that's typically not something that you're going to be able to do on like online. That's going to be a lot more difficult to do online than what we would be able to do in the store. I mean, that is a major advantage. And so for us, having like retail sales associates that like know their stuff and know their promotions and know how to like bundle and cross sell and create like a really good solution for the customer, that's the value they can bring to a customer. I think that.
Sure.
And where the customer wouldn't need to go on the internet, they could just come in and get that. So
This has been fascinating. I do have one recommendation that I think could get dealer stores, corporate stores, sales to skyrocket. Ready for this?
I'd love to hear it.
I need the in-store process to be much quicker. It's not that it's any faster online, but I want to be able to walk into a store, get anything I want in and out in 10, 15 minutes. And if I'm getting a new cell phone plan, it's really hard. It's really hard for that to happen. I've been into a cell phone store for hours before. And I think a lot of people have had that. And I say that it's no different online, or if I'm calling Verizon or AT&T, it's going to be a long time on that phone. But the carrier who gets the in-store experience, lightning speed, whoo, that's going to be really interesting to see.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, I know that AT&T, they're pretty more transparent than they should be with dealers. They show us, like they talk to us and say, look, like here's what we're investing in our systems and IT and improving, and they're always trying to, you know, they're always trying to improve that process. That's one of the biggest, that's the part of the retail experience I think we can improve on. So I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And as you know, like we're selling a service, and we're also selling, even though the revenue generated doesn't come from the product, but you still have a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And so, and trying to move that stuff over, like trying to transfer that equipment over.
Yeah, it's not simple.
Like Zap, like what needs to, I wish that there was like maybe Apple, somebody comes up with it that just literally like it just zap, like flashes it. Like it's just a flash, like 2-minute flash, 1 minute flash, and then everything just moves. That's current, that process is not, that technology isn't there yet, but if somebody can crack that code, that would be an absolute game changer for our industry.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Paul, you've been a wealth of knowledge. This has been so fascinating. I want to bring us to the last part of the show. You ready? We call it retail wisdom. I got 3 questions for you.
Go.
All right. Question 1. What extinct retailer do you wish would come back from the dead?
Probably Blockbuster Video.
Good one. Popular one. Okay. Question 2. What's the last item over $20 you bought in a store?
I bought some bourbon. Walked into like a liquor store and bought some bourbon.
Kind of bourbon.
I don't remember the guy. it was the guy recommended. It was at Total Wine. It was
Sure.
like this really huge, badass retailer in Milwaukee, and he recommended some really good bourbons, but I don't remember the names.
See, everybody, that's the power of the retail associate. He recommended it and you ended up buying it. That's what you need.
Oh, I walked in to buy one bottle. I ended up buying 3.
That's
there
why
were
you
more
need
than 20
retail
bucks.
associates in your stores. Okay. Last question. If you and I were in Target and I lost you, what aisle would I find you in?
I have 2 small daughters and I'm always getting them toys. So I'd probably be in the toy aisle. at
I was
Target.
in the toy aisle at Target yesterday. I know all too much. I'm getting
Yep.
to the point where I'm like, I think she has that Barbie. She has that Barbie. She has that one. She has that one. I don't know what to do. So
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
well, Paul, listen, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and really appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Paul, thanks for hanging in there. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
If there's anything I could do for you, let me know. You want anything I could share, information, anything, insights, we're a landlord, so we're seeing a lot of things. I got AT&T dealers all over as my tenant. Anything with, you want to see other, insights, what other retailers are doing, other dealers, anything like that. Some things we're seeing in the market and we're all over, let me know.
Thank you. Do you have anything going on in, do you have anything in like Wisconsin, Illinois?
So
Michigan?
so Wisconsin and Illinois, yes. I don't own anything in Michigan. So we're an owner. We don't third party anything. We're an owner. I got a bunch in Illinois. In Wisconsin, I have one in Milwaukee.
Which one do you own?
I own Midtown Center.
It's in Milwaukee.
It's in the heart of Milwaukee. It's in an urban ethnic environment. I have a US Cellular. We just did
Okay.
them last year, but
Okay.
I don't have a restriction. I can do another cell phone provider, but we have a US Cellular. We put them in about a year ago, right before the pandemic.
Got you.
So
We would definitely be interested.
I'll send it to you.
Are they on your, yeah, can you do me a favor? Can you send them to me? And then do you have any Sprint or T-Mobiles that are closing in any of your centers?
I do. I need to check with my team on which sites they are, but yes.
Okay, if you have stuff in those markets,
I'll let you know.
please let me know.
Will do, Paul.
Thank you. It's good talking to you. Good interview.
This is great. Thank you so
All
much.
right, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you watching. Hit subscribe. See you in the next one.